Nandan Nilekani, Imagining India, Ideas for the New Century. Welcome to the world of contrasts in Imagining India, Ideas for the New Century. A land of contradictions, India is home to globally renowned companies operating in a bureaucratic society, and a large population of well-educated individuals counterbalanced by a staggering number of school dropouts. In this book's summary, you will embark on a journey as the author Nandan Nilekani navigates India's past, present, and future. He identifies the country's key strengths, such as technology industries and a youth demographic dividend, as well as areas that need improvement, like education, urbanization, infrastructure, and the need for a unified national market. Join us as we unpack the key issues and challenges India must overcome to realize its full potential in the global economy.
India, a country of contradictions. India is a country that presents a complex and often contradictory face to outsiders. While it boasts some of the most modern office complexes in the world, it also has one of Asia's largest slums. Despite having a large number of well-educated workers, it also has the world's highest tally of school dropouts. India's inequalities are limiting its ability to take advantage of the opportunities it has today. However, India has come a long way since its independence in 1947, and its economy has grown by more than 6% annually since the early 1990s, spurring the creation of a viable middle class and lifting millions out of poverty. The country's well-educated and English-speaking workforce has made it a hub for technology and service industries. While India faces internal challenges, its experts anticipate that its role in the global economy will continue to expand. India is a country that is as much an idea as it is a nation. India's burgeoning demographic. India's diverse populace, consisting of over 1,500 languages, ranges from affluent southerners to poorer northerners. Despite numerous famines, the government enforced a family planning program in the mid-20th century, which allowed women to enter the workforce and families to save and invest in education and businesses. Consequently, India's reduced dependency rate ushered in an economic boom in the 1990s and early 2000s, giving rise to a demographic dividend. As a result, India now boasts an annual influx of 2 million English-speaking graduates, 15,000 new lawyers, 9,000 doctoral graduates, and 300,000 trained engineers. While India's future direction is shaped by loyalties towards caste, religion, region, and class, its diverse and young population reserves the crucial ingredient for economic prosperity, the ability to support growth through having fewer dependents. The evolution of India's economy. India has had mixed views on the role of business and entrepreneurs. After experiencing exploitation during British colonization and developing a protective state post-independence, the country's economy stagnated. However, the government's financial and market reforms in the 1980s and 1990s led to the abolishment of the wealth tax and restrictions on foreign investment. This poured capital into the economy, resulting in the emergence of young, ambitious entrepreneurs launching startups focused on services like technology and business process outsourcing. These ventures thrived alongside traditional family firms and street sellers, forming the roots of India's economic success. India's vibrant human capital also emerged as a valuable source of workers and consumers for the global economy. Unpacking India's complex relationship with the English language. The British Empire's imposition of English on India created a conflicted history. Initially introduced as a cost-cutting measure, universities that specialized in Western culture and language proliferated as English-speaking Indians gradually replaced British workers. The use of English also exposed Indians to Western concepts of nationalism, liberty, and freedom, providing a unifying force during the struggle for independence. Today, English remains India's lingua franca and a symbol of upward mobility. Though Hindi was introduced as a national language, its imposition faced resistance from the southern states to the point where Hindi and English became the country's official languages in 1967. Since then, English has been increasingly important due to globalization and India's economic growth, with over two-thirds of BPO jobs now requiring English fluency. As a result, India's relationship with the English language continues to be complex, reflecting both its colonial past and modernization aspirations. How India's IT industry came to be. India's rise to becoming a major player in the international information technology industry is a testament to the transformative power of education, entrepreneurship, and globalization. Despite a lack of domestic opportunity, early Indian IT startups like Infosys and TCS focused on international sales, paving the way to a more interconnected and tech-savvy world. However, computerization faced challenges when the socialist bureaucracy viewed it as a threat to replace employees with machines. It wasn't until national elections in 2004 and the introduction of IT kiosks in rural areas that technology became accessible to the masses. Today, India's widespread population is being united by technology, creating a common identity. India's ongoing challenges. India has made significant strides in the last few decades, but progress has also highlighted the nation's continuing difficulties, especially in areas like a united common market, infrastructure, education, and urbanization. Education and opportunity in India. Although India has the second largest number of engineers in the world, the country's overall population is only two-thirds literate. While the wealthy enroll their children in high-end private schools, the poor attend under-resourced state schools. Education is seen as an avenue to economic prosperity and a skilled workforce, but income, religion, and caste limit access. As the economy grows, citizens from all walks of life demand better opportunities. However, entrenched social structures and government policies have created disparities in access to education that must be addressed. The state must evolve to meet the changing needs of its people. Rethinking urban India. India's cities suffered from years of neglect due to the government's focus on rural areas and the British colonial class preference for urban living. However, with the rise of the modern economy, attention has been brought to the forefront of the need for better services and infrastructure for urban areas. Bangalore's status as an IT and BPO center has underscored this necessity. Public and private sectors are now collaborating to transform cities into economic powerhouses and provide better living conditions for residents. India's infrastructure challenges. India's infrastructure is a mix of old and new. Generators power skyscrapers, while neighborhoods rely on private wells. Years of socialist policies have resulted in poor upkeep of utilities and public services. Despite technological advancements, India's roads, railways, and airports still need major upgrades. Short-term subsidies have taken priority over long-term infrastructure investment. However, private enterprise and government are now working together to improve the country's infrastructure, which will benefit rural citizens' economic opportunities. India's complex reality requires careful attention to ensure sustainable growth and development. India's internal divisions. India's cultural, political, and fiscal policies create internal divides, hindering the country from achieving a true single market. Despite being seen as a unified entity, different tax structures, commercial rules, and political constraints make interregional commerce challenging, while transactions with the outside world remain more accessible for businesspeople. The need for local liberalization intensifies as technology improves and people move more freely among states. India struggles to become one nation, both culturally and economically. India's shifting economic paradigm. India's opportunities for globalization are at risk as other developing nations catch up. Partisan struggles and traditional mindsets hinder progress, with the government still setting prices for crucial crops, leading to supply shortages. However, the Indian people are becoming more entrepreneurial, driving the shift from a closed government model to an open-source paradigm. The untapped potential of India's vast human capital can propel the nation to the forefront of the world's economy. Nevertheless, India's firms must generate jobs for 14 million new labor pool entrants yearly, far exceeding the current capacity of 1 million new jobs per annum.
The book summary of Imagining India, Ideas for the New Century, highlights the dichotomy of India's socio-economic landscape and the challenges that lie ahead for the country. As India taps into its strengths in technology and workforce demographics, it must also address long-standing issues related to education, urbanization, infrastructure, and a unified national market. As India propels into the future, a shift toward a bazaar model, driven by the entrepreneurial private sector, is already underway, striving to unleash the untapped potential of the nation's vast human capital. The road to progress will be marked by a continual contest between traditional mindsets and modern societal demands, with India's ambitious citizens leading the way toward economic prosperity.